What's up everybody, welcome back to the second installment of building this Kawasaki ZX636, the 2024 model, into a stunt bike. Today we're going to be working on brakes. We're going to start on the front brakes, work our way to the back, but just want to show you guys these rotors. I've been using these things for a long time, and so I like to swap out the front rotors. It's not a must, but I really love these things. They've been really good to me. It was a company that I worked with called CTS Moto way back in the day. They no longer are making these things, but I've always hung on to sets of them, and they go on every bike I have. So pretty stoked that I still have a set for this bike. As you can see, I got a set on the wall, but check these things out. Just incredible. Such a cool look. They got all these slots in them. They dissipate heat really well, so you never really get brake fade, and they just give the bike a really awesome look. So we're going to throw these things on today. Alright, so this is what we're working with. Here we got the OEM stuff, and this is going to replace it. That looks really good. We're just going to kind of get these things started and then hit them with the torque wrench. Alright, look at that. Sheesh. Next up, I'm going to show you guys everything you need to accommodate that brake setup. Front brakes, rear brakes, handbrake, everything. 19 RCS Brembo, 80-inch handbrake line, the two front lines plus 5 inches to accommodate the riser bars. We've got the 12-inch jumper line to go from caliper to caliper. We've got the rear brake line, which is 24 inches, pretty much stock. We have the reservoirs, fork mounted, tiny reservoirs, clear Tygon tubing so you can see the status of your fluid. I'm going to run this thing. This thing is pretty much what is necessary for jumping two 4-piston calipers together. Gives you the best feel, at least in my opinion. Gives you the most room for error. The 16 millimeter is too much. It's very easy to just barely tap that thing. The bike just wants to throw you over the bar. So I would go with the 19 RCS Brembo. And now we're going to go start installing some of this stuff while Milo takes a nap. Alright, well I think we need to start with some of this wiring here. There is a wire that comes off the rear brake. I believe it's for traction control, and we don't need that, that's for sure. We will undo this guy, feed it down to the bottom. There it is, gone. So I'm going to start with the rear brake line here because it's probably one of the easiest. Banjo loose here. Jump it over to the Brembo P34 caliper right here. So there's our rear brake line, all routed, looking good, nice and clean. Brand new crush washers. Now we can work on probably the jumper line and then route the handbrake line. Alright, so routing the jumper line, fairly easy. We're going caliper to caliper, so your handbrake will control both of these calipers simultaneously. Start with the bottom one. Handbrake line itself. Another crush washer. Now we're going to go through the jumper line. And then another crush washer. And now we're going to line it all up here. I have mixed feelings about working in rubber gloves. I feel like sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's not. It's nice when you're working with brake fluid. These lines are dry right now, but man, sometimes they don't feel good. Snug it right around where it's at. You always got to remember when you snug these things, they tend to turn a little bit, so got to try to get them where you want them for the most part. Put a little pressure. That looks pretty good. So now it's just a matter of routing all of this excess brake line to where we want it to be, all up through the frame, around the airbox, and to the handlebars. So we've got 80 inches of line here. We've got to run it cleanly all the way up to the front. So I do run it alongside this brake line here. To come up through here, pull the excess through. Then I can run these lines together. I can zip tie them together. I can put them back under here if I wanted to. So we'll take this guy. We're going to route it around the air box. The air box is actually loose, so pull it up, pop it down, get it right around where I want it. So currently this is what we've got going on. We've got lower caliper, jump to the second caliper, handbrake routing all the way up, rear brake, P34 caliper routed to the factory, foot brake right now. Handbrake is coming up, routes through the frame, under the airbox, up through here into the left side of the handlebars. This is how I prep these tie-gon tubing. So I pretty much start by attaching the tubing all the way up there. Piece of wire tie, handy dandy wire tie pliers. Give them a little pull. There we go. Now we just measure the amount of tubing that we need and cut off the excess. Do the same thing on the other end. There you have it. As you can see, they just mount to the fork tubes. These are here. They look a little long, a little sloppy, but we've got it mounted to the stock master for now. Side over here, also mounted. It's going to run over to the handbrake master cylinder over here. This guy here, you could just spin it, turn it down, face it downwards, and that's where the hose is going to attach. Same deal, wire tie, get that thing into position. But for now, we're going to skip the brake bleeding part. We're going to put some front brake lines on and move along. Personally, I am not a fan of the brake lines that tie together above the front fender. I really like the independent lines that just come off, double banjo at the top. Fluid just gets pushed through. It's nice. For now, I took the clutch lever off, put the Brembo here, just mounted it so it's in its rightful place until we put the other clip-ons on, but got the tie-gon tubing. I will shorten that and make it proper. Same thing for this side. Tie-gon tubing to that front master cylinder. And then we got some brake lines. Got a lot of excess. I kind of went with those +5s, and I'm not really sure if they're going to be too much or if they're going to be good, but we got it routed to the front brake calipers. We got some sweet new rotors put on. Hopefully with the riser clip-ons we'll get rid of some of this excess. Not really stoked on how much brake line is still there, but we'll be up a couple more inches and hopefully it'll eliminate all that slack. So we got the handbrake line routed all the way down through the frame, out the back. And here we've got the rear brake line coming off of the stock master. That goes back to this P34 Brembo caliper. Handbrake line is routed down to the 4-piston caliper, and from there it is jumped to another 4-piston caliper, and all of that is mounted surrounding this 320mm brake disc and mounted completely to this SS Moto bracket, which is a really nice piece. Super stoked on all that. Some sliders. We got this swing arm mounted up. We're in pretty good shape so far, so we could probably start checking some stuff off this list and get ready for tomorrow. Got the swing arm done, got the chain and sprocket done, got the handbrake bracket and calipers done, front brake rotors are done. Tomorrow we're going to be working on the cooling system. So far it's coming along. I'm pretty stoked on all of it. As always, I appreciate you guys stopping by. I appreciate you guys kind of tagging along on this journey with me, and I hope you guys are learning something. And if you want to support the channel or anything, then I will say come to an event or pick up a t-shirt or some stickers. Right now my website kind of sucks, I'll be honest, but if you're interested in one of these shirts, I got these TC limiter shirts. Hit me up on Instagram, send me a DM. Feeling like I need to get out of this garage and start riding some motorcycles instead of working on them.